Oh, you know part two is insane. After the way part one has been like, part one's been insane, dude. But anyway, guys, y'all know who it is, the one, the only, the tripped out C. We're here, but I'm not here by myself. I'm here with someone else. Go ahead and introduce yourself, good sir, to the good people.
Going on, everybody? My name is PlatinumKU, and thank you for inviting me tripped out.
You know it. I will have a link to his channel and his Twitch in the description of this video, so y'all definitely go check him out. He is a more OG Dokkan player than me. He is absolutely more goated than I am, so.
I mean, look, we're both pretty goated, all right? We both have the sauce.
Oh, absolutely. You know it, but how, I just want to start with on a scale of on any kind of you could do like a scale of 1 to 10, or you could give it like a grade, like an A, B, C, or whatever. How would you reaction to part one and everything we got in part one?
I think part one, overall, I think the content was pretty well, but if we're going with like just a base rating, I think it was probably like maybe an 8 or a 9, because it definitely has a lot of decent content for part one to get people really intrigued. Because cooler movies very hard to kind of have a lot of content for. But for part one, they pulled out like all the stops regarding units and free to play units, especially the active skills and revival animations. So they've already done a lot more than what people's original expectations were.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I was really impressed with the fact that they did a Wicked Bloodline Red Zone. I thought was really cool. I think the skill orb event I think is excellent, and the 30 sensus every 7 days, like that's a really one that kind of I think is like floats under the radar as like, dude, that's a really good event because it is free fucking stones.
Exactly. Free stones at any opportunity is like no complaints from me. There is
Oh,
only one downside I would put about part one, and it's that we didn't get the continuation of the Guru link leveling stage that you could get daily before the actual units dropped. I feel like that should be something that lasts the entire celebration because it's free link levels. People want link levels.
oh yeah, absolutely. Well, now Global got the key event before Tanabata, which was crazy because that's when JP got it. Was
Oh
when
yeah, that's
Vegeta
a
and
major
Trunks
global
struck
link.
was when they got the keys.
Definitely like a major plus to have, but I do feel bad for the people that are free to play. That don't exactly want to spend $10 on the keys because that's a very pay to advance fast mechanic.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But there are details regarding a link level event that certainly we will get to. They released the 8-minute clip, the official Dokkan did, and it pretty much gave out majority of the information for part two, all the free to play easy A's and a bunch of stuff like that. But I mean, the first thing that I saw today that I really enjoyed seeing the most was the card arts for the LRs, which
Oh
obviously we
yeah.
got the Goku and Vegeta one, which I think actually looks really good. I think it is a really good art. Like, I feel like they did a really good job with the Vegeta and Goku art. Although the thing is, it's gonna be interesting the leader skill, but I think joint forces will be one of the categories.
I would love to see that joint forces. As a category leader, we've barely had any representation other than I think it was the physical Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta, and then there was a free to play unit, which I think was I'm probably wrong here, but I think it was the 18 and Krillin that was a free to play unit from the 6th anniversary that had that leader skill as well. So Joined Forces has been like suffering for a while for a good leader.
And it's got some really decent units on the category that I think really need like a better team to be on. Like, I think this will work with like the gods and the fours, even though they already have like better 200%. But
I'd be interested to see what they make for this 200% leader skill.
no, absolutely, I think it's gonna be good. I don't know how the unit's gonna fare in general, just because based on the units we have from the movie, the Metal Cooler movie, they don't share many common categories. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they blend this unit with categories and the leader skill.
Categories, that definitely is going to be a concern. I think the overall build of the unit is going to be very similar to the cooler, just like last worldwide download. The past 2 years have been very similarly formatted, so like Goku and Frieza were also very similar in their design. I think it's going to be the exact same with this Goku and Vegeta, but just different class typing is maybe different requirements.
I think that would be real. That would actually be really good. But the other thing I was also thinking about was the banner unit, because we just got a banner unit Piccolo. Is this where we get a duo Gohan and Krillin from the movie as a banner unit?
I would not mind that at all. Because we have the LR ones, so having another banner unit, because I don't think Piccolo is a good choice, but definitely a Krillin and Gohan, because if they lead join forces, they're on the category.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then obviously, like, my favorite art that literally, like, I think Cooler's art's the best art though. I think the two Cooler arts I think have looked the best.
I fully agree. I think this art, I was very interested to see what type of art direction they would go in, but I'm very happy that this came out as beautiful as it did.
Oh, absolutely. It's got the big Getty Stark corn in the back too.
I do have an idea of what his leader skill might be. There's two that I think are best examples that I would love to see. Either artificial life forms for a full 200%, because I think Metal Cooler is going to be a carnival banner, and the Goku and Vegeta is the Dokkan Festival. A 200% leader skill for artificial life forms, or resurrected warriors, because artificial life forms has all the cells, all the boos, which means that Kid Buu finally gets his 200%.
Yeah,
Same with
I
resurrected
think
warriors.
Kid Buu needs his 200% before he gets like super power corrupt.
Oh yeah.
But then I was also thinking about this, like, I would actually want to see this LR Cooler in the vein of having some support with him, because I feel like most of the time you're gonna want to run like LR Cooler, AGL Golden Frieza, maybe another AGL Frieza. Like, you're gonna want to run a lot of Frieza and Cooler units for majority of the main big links that Cooler's gonna have. But one of the links that AGL Transforming Cooler has is Transform. And so I'm thinking they could get rid of the Transform link, but what do you replace it with? Because he already has Fierce Battle. I was thinking,
They could
man,
give him auto regeneration.
I yeah. Well, AGL Cooler has that one. Would instead of how about instead of auto regeneration, give him infinite regeneration? Because that's
That could
a
work.
Kid Buu link, and I think if he had an extra link with Buu, I think that would make Buu that much better.
Since we know, like, from the teaser image, or the teaser, like, 4 second thing that they released on the Twitter, we know that we're going to see some representation of the Meta Cooler army. So infinite regeneration. I don't know for certain if Cooler will have it, but I think that since we have him possibly going into multiple forms for the army, that could work.
It's very interesting to see. These units will not drop until the 16th, but we're expecting details and stuff. What? Literally a week from today.
Yeah, so we'll get the details, and, like, not the details, but the overall campaign and the events. We'll get those early on, but the part 2 units themselves will be about maybe a day or 12 hours after the initial release of all the events. Like, we got the Cooler and the Goku. I think, did we get the Goku and Cooler first before the part 1 units came out, or did they come out at the same time?
I felt like it came out the same. No, because they did the Dokkan Now that night, and they released what, couple hours after they did that.
That is true. Okay,
But
so
since
never
we're
mind
not
my
gonna
fault.
have that, I think it's just gonna be like it normally is. Like the events and the missions will be there first, and then they release the banners. Which I'm interested to see the Carnival banner for Metal Cooler. I'm gonna be very interested to see who's on that banner.
I mean, I know that we already have an idea of what's going to be on the Goku and Vegeta banner. But man, I agree. I think Cooler's banner, I'll be very interested to see who they put as, like, the featured LRs on there, my summons for the Goku were very brutal, purely because I kept getting the same card over and over again. So if they are gonna make a card that's on here, I think some options that would be like actually ideal. Physical Janemba, I think, is a great pick to be featured on here. Obviously, I think full power Frieza, maybe, if they do that again. I think those
Yeah.
are like just a few of at least I think those would be like icons that people would really want to grab, especially Janemba.
hmm I would love to see Janemba on the banner, but I it feels weird because I don't think there's as much hype for part 2 as there was for part 1. Like, I don't know like how people are really going to attack part 2. Like, part 1 I think was like the most hype I've been for like a Dokkan unit. It was final form cooler. Like, I was really hyped for it. I don't know if I'm as hyped for like a Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta in a metal cooler though.
I think we need to see what they do because overall, lots of the units, like for the Cooler movie as a whole, I didn't know too much about it, and I was very on like, is this really worldwide download worthy of a celebration? And I think by doing the new banner format, it's definitely helping continue the hype. Because after part one ended for like 6 year anniversary or worldwide download, nobody really cared about part two because you only were chasing the main two Dokkan Festival units, and then you would just have two featured LRs you could have a chance to pull, but you wouldn't have a nearly enough of a good chance to actually walk away with those units. So I think doing the banners in this format does work when trying to keep hype around the game. The only thing that does hurt are going to be the wallets of people trying to put money into both banners.
Yeah, and for part 1, I only stuck all my goddamn stones in one banner, but we'll see. I For me, it's going to depend on what Cooler's banner looks like. Because
Agreed.
I think I'll go more for Cooler, because I think Metal Cooler in and of itself, I think is a great villain, but Goku's and Vegeta's banner is all gonna be the other Dokkan Fest. Like, Kid Buu will be on that banner, Cell will be on the banner, units like that. So I feel like, I mean, obviously the Dokkan Fest is gonna have better value, but we don't know when Carnival units will come out again. So I think now is the time to chase the Carnival units, because I don't know whenever they're ever going to come back. So I don't know if it's more worth it to chase Carnival units now or later.
I think if they make this Metal Cooler exactly like the Goku, then he's going to be perfect in that sense. Because if we have the Goku, the Goku and Vegeta, which we know is going to be similar to the Dokkan Fest Cooler, and we have the Goku that's meant to be tanking in slot one, this Metal Cooler will literally be the slot one unit that STR Cooler needed. And with when we could see these units, I think if they're gonna do this new banner format, I think we're only going to be seeing them during the anniversaries and during the worldwide download campaigns.
I can see that, but I mean, the thing is, STR Cooler technically has a slot 1 unit. It just hasn't released on global yet because they don't have AGL LR Golden Frieza, he's a top 10. He's a top 10 unit with Cooler. On Cooler's team, he is so much better than he was prior to his release.
As long as they make him busted or at least a good turn one unit, I think the more support for like these smaller categories that don't have near the same attention as like Goku family or Vegeta family, pure Saiyans, hybrid Saiyans, the big money sellers. I think any support for any other category is definitely needed.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what I kind of want to see Metal Cooler have some support with him, because, I mean, for me, I feel like I'm just gonna want to run it with Frieza and Cooler units and stuff like that. I feel like I want him to have a little bit of support for that team to
Oh yeah.
make those units pop just a little more. I don't know if Cooler necessarily needs it with the way he's stacking his attack and stuff, but a unit like AGL Golden Frieza, I think with a little more support, I think could be a little bit better.
Agreed.
So those are the card arts. Definitely good ones. I'm very interested to wait for Cooler's banner. We also got the story event, which it's the continuation of the one we pulled the Gohan from. They're just adding the awakening medals for the coolers onto that story, which is pretty cool. that they're just adding on to the story and not just making a whole entire new story to it.
Yeah, any improvement or like again, same with free dragon stones because you're gonna probably walk away with at least like 10 from the story event, and I'd be interested to see what they're gonna be doing, or maybe if they add in like certain items or like this. Personally, I would love to see another stage in the game that's gonna give you training locations, particularly hyperbolic time chambers, because you can never have too many of those.
Oh no, you definitely cannot. I feel like sometimes like a lot of the story events they drop at times, like training items at times and the training locations could come at like a premium with based on the story events they drop at the time of the celebration. So I certainly would love to see that. But I mean, it could just be like an awakening stage or maybe like a Zenny stage like they've been doing with stories as well. I mean, who knows what they're going to do with the stages, but
That is true.
I mean, it is really cool that STR cooler's finally getting his Dokkan Awakening, along with all of the 5 metal cooler types are also getting their awakenings as well. And every single type has a different card art, but I actually did not pull that link up, but they are all getting different arts. Actually, it's in the 8-minute clip somewhere, because there's the STR one. That's his art's pretty good. Where is it in here? I know it's in here somewhere. All right, load, you stupid video.
It's definitely a welcome change. I think giving like more free-to-play options for lots of these teams is definitely welcomed. Like the Bardock squad got their EZA, Ginyu Forest team. So having like these other small like categories that don't really have like near the same hype as like a strong 200% leader skill, I think this is definitely like an improvement for all players to have these in their box.
Absolutely. So the next thing they talked about was which one? It is this event, the Fighting Spirit of the Saiyans and Pride of the Wicked Bloodline. We are getting 2 new stages for it, and it's obviously going to be Vegeta and Goku, and then the second one will be against Metal Cooler, which, based on what I've heard, it's gonna be like a 10-round fight against the Metal Coolers, because it's literally just gonna be like, I don't know, maybe like a Metal Cooler of each type or something. But I do know that 10-round stage could find a way to be pretty difficult, because I feel like they're gonna be on par with the Goku and the Cooler stages that they already dropped for the event. So
Specifically, I think what I find this event kind of fun to do is that it's not one of those teams where you just kind of make any team. They give you certain characters that have to be included on the team based on a certain category or two, and I think that's a very cool addition from last year's worldwide download where you could just kind of bring any team. So having it to be this way, I think is really cool.
yeah, it'll certainly be interesting. I mean, obviously they'll probably have the same missions where, like, you know, you gotta have Goku and Vegeta on a team, and you get a mission for that. You get the mission for completing it, and then obviously you'll have to do one with Metal Cooler on the team. So that'll be pretty awesome. So missions and 4 more Dragon Stones, pretty much, right? Well, actually, no, technically 6. For completing
Any stones are welcome stones.
Yeah, definitely gotta love it. The next event they talked about was this. This is the link level stage that they talked about.
Yes.
So you get 3 attempts per 7 days, and it's an improvement over the Guru stage, which literally it would only add. The event had a 4.5 to out of 19.5 chance. So I'm expecting. I mean, certainly lower level units are better to bring in because you'll get more link levels. But I mean, you got the key stage and now you got this. Is this not Dokkan's way of saying, all right, we're not going to improve the friend system. We're just going to start dropping link leveling stages to help people out with the friend system more?
I think they are going to have to eventually touch upon the friend system because it's one of the main issues that people nowadays have been constantly putting in their complaints about. Because it has to be answered eventually, but I think with the formatting for it, they can fix it, but it's the formatting of it that they're trying to figure out how to improve it in some way. But the link level stage, I personally am all for. I think any type of content that can give you guaranteed or even a higher chance of a link level is definitely going to help out towards the end, where you have one or two links that are like 8 and 9s and you really can't get past that marker because you're just stuck at that same link. So having this as a 3-time stage that you could do per week, I think I'm all for it.
Oh, is a quick question: did Barlow finally get that link?
Yes,
Oh,
he
thank God.
did. After many hours and streams, he finally got to link level 10.
Oh my goodness, I remember it did take you quite a minute to get that Barlow done. I mean, it took me
He
a
was not
minute to
friendly.
get Cooler's final links done, man. It was annoying.
It's always like the
28-2, come on, we're
coincidence.
waiting on you.
Oh yeah.
And then the other one, which is a Gohan Krillin event, which this is what gives me the hope that the Gohan and Krillin are the banner unit. Like, this is what kind of gives it away.
Oh, the banner. Ah, okay, the custom art.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think
So
about that.
this is pretty much the way I was explained is the Bardock event from last year, where it was you would go through phases and go through like waves of enemies and stuff. Like, you're given a limited number of turns. You got 5 phases of it, so I'm sure they'll have it to where it's probably like Movie Heroes has like a buff against this, and you have to go through like, I guess, 5 phases, and then you get rewards based on the phases you get through, which I think content like this is really fun. Like, certainly going into the Bardock event last year, I struggled because I didn't have the best team for it, but it to me is still fun content because it's something different. It's not always doing the same red zone stages over again. It's not the same, Cell Max doing all that over again and stuff like that. So I think stuff like this during major celebrations, I think is really good because it adds something new.
Yeah, it adds some variety to the game because any type of new change, as long as it's not something that you have to complete in order to progress the game, then I think that I'm all for it. It's when you try to lock off certain aspects of the game due to difficult content. But if it's something fun that you can keep trying to do and like try to chase after it, like you got to get a good score or try to beat like this difficult stage, kind of like Cell Max. I think this is going to be very interesting to see how they pull this off. If it's going to be harder than last year, or if it's going to be more challenging due to the 200% introduction.
It's gonna be quite interesting, but I mean, dude, they're keeping up with content. Like, they're constantly adding missions and stuff like that, which I'm shocked. I would assume next week we're gonna get. Maybe next week we get the Broly missions. Like, we got the Omega missions. I'm still waiting to. I'm still curious to see if they're gonna do the same thing with Broly that they did with Omega with the missions. Like,
They could. I could totally see them doing that.
so let me see. There was also Ultimate Red Zone. Wicked Bloodline is getting 2 stages. And this,
Okay.
and when I saw the clip for it, which this really threw me off when I saw it. I think yeah, I pretty much said it's King Cold's getting a Red Zone stage.
Oh, so are we thinking that it might be like a Mecha Frieza into King Cold?
Oops, hold on. Let me shut this up for a second. Where is it in here? Yeah, see, so there he is. King Cold gets one, and Metal Cooler gets a stage. It's gonna be interesting to see what the final stages are, though. Like, because GT Red Zone, Movie Boss Red Zone, they each have 7 phases. With King Cold and Metal Cooler, now you're up to 4. What are the final 3? Golden Frieza's obviously one, but then who else? You're Chilled. Chilled's never gotten a Dokkan Fest. Like, he only has a free to play, like, strike event character. How is he gonna be a Red Zone stage?
Do you think that they'll make it 7 stages, or do you think they'll just have it as 5? Because they could just do like release 2, which be like as I think with King Cold, they could do it as to where it starts off with Mecha Frieza and then works its way to King Cold, and then the 4th stage would be Metal Cooler, or they could just make 3 different stages where just Mecha Frieza alone, King Cold by himself, and then Metal Cooler. I don't know if they do plan to add like 2 additional stages on top of that, because it really wouldn't make too much sense that lines up with the movie.
Yeah, I thought it was just really weird that King Cole was getting in on the red zone. I was literally sitting here thinking it's gonna be full power Frieza, Cooler, Golden Frieza, and then it was gonna be Metal Cooler, and then that was gonna be it for the red zone. So the fact that they're actually adding King Cold is actually, it's a little off-putting to me, but I'll still take it because I enjoy going into red zone even though I get clapped and dominated every single time. Like I still have fun just seeing how far I can get. Like if I can get to the final phase in the red zone, like hey, that's cool with me.
The day that I could beat Cell Max with a Namekian team, I've completed this game.
Oh, whenever Namekians ever get the buff they need to just do a giant Namekian Dokkan festival. That's what they really need to do.
And fix the Piccolo naming system to have parentheses of certain characters that assimilate with Piccolo.
Oh, absolutely. So like you got Kami absorbed and Nail absorbed. Absolutely. That's definitely something that I think they need to work on. So yeah, so it is. So the link level event will be you'll be able to do 3 times a week. So that would be really nice. And then the other news we got obviously was the Easy A's. Here are the base stats after the Easy A. Look at Metal Cooler's defense though.
I think his defense is very, very good.
Yeah, his defense is insane, but it's also comparable to Goku Black and Zamasu because they got a really good buff when they got their Easy A. Like particularly defensively they did, but they didn't get the stats buff because they didn't get levels and stuff. But I did sort of see it coming. The way Cooler's kit was designed with the fact that he was getting an attack every time he got hit, I was like, they're building this Easy A in the same realm that they did Goku Black and Zamasu, where instead of just getting an attack, now he gets defense, which I think is really gonna help him as a unit in general.
Totally agree on that. I think having this guy's an Easy A is like essential for the Metal Cooler team.
So it'll be very interesting to see how he looks. The overall details for the Easy A, this one's Metal Coolers, which it's key +4 and 170, which I'm not mad about because this can help AGL full power Frieza with 1 extra key he needs. But I wouldn't run double Metal Coolers on a team though. But he's getting he's getting 2 key.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're good. But he's getting 2 key with 150 at the start, and he gets up to 100% attack and defense with a 20% gain every time he gets attacked. Which Goku Black and Zamasu go up to 120, but there's just a 30% buff. So the potential for that defense to look pretty good.
I think the only downside for this character is that on his super attack effect, he doesn't raise defense. Only because if you look at his overall passive, he recovers HP in which he gets hit. And so I think that they didn't add in that extra defense because of that HP recovery.
I do. I can agree with that. And they also almost built him in a way to where you go into the Wicked Bloodline and Pure Saiyan stage where you fight like the Cooler and the Goku. He's gonna be a beast going against Goku and Vegeta because he's getting 40% chance to crit and he's getting 2 additional key. So he'll almost essentially be at what, 10 key at the start of that turn?
And he'll be lowering attack and defense if they do have the ability to have their attack and defense lowered.
That will certainly be something to see. I think in the first part they will, but just once you get to like the main big bad boss, I think that's gonna not mean anything. I think it's Super Battle Road. I think he could be really good. Like movie bosses, Super Battle Road and Extreme Super Battle Road, I think he could be okay.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
And his core, which his passive is only 2 key. But no one really cares about the giant form. I think the way they need to start doing them, and the way I love hearing people talk about like giant forms and stuff like that, give them like guaranteed crits or super effective against all types or something like that.
Exactly. Make him like AGL Cell.
You AGL Cell. I hope I pull AGL Cell in this Dokkan Fest. I really do. I still don't have him.
He's definitely worth it. If you pull him, you will not be disappointed.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then this is, I think this is Piccolo's.
A world tournament killer.
Yeah, he's gonna be insane in World Tour. The issue is like who like you want to bring us. So I would bring a good like the way I do World Tournament, right? Is I have my AOE and I have like 1 or 2 units that give key. I always have like 1 or 2 support units just to help get the key, like with SDR Broly, so that way I know I can get that double super.
Oh, and he orb changes too, so he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna already do like the orb changing thing to help him get enough orbs. He's gonna be a menace,
Oh, he's gonna be
especially with
insane.
support.
With the medium chance to stun too.
Oh my god, yeah.
Dude, look at this. 6 key and you get a guaranteed critical hit when you're fighting 2 or more. So, dude, Super Battle Road. Movie
Yeah,
Hero
like,
Super
additional.
Super Battle Road say keep him on like and keep him as like a. I would keep him as a floater because I really like the STR Banner Piccolo as a slot 1 unit, which not a lot of people would tend to say, but I do think this Banner unit Piccolo is a slot 1 unit. I think you could put him at slot 2, and I think you could do really well. Because you'll get the guard, your second unit's like a really heavy hitter, and then you maybe have him and like the floating to get crits and get some stuns, but because Banner unit Piccolo is gonna get seals.
Oh, that's right, he does seal. Yeah, this is a good easy A.
I think these EZAs are only gonna get better and better. Now Vegeta's I'm not really as big of a fan of because he's got HP restrictions with like key attack and crit chance, which
Ooh.
it's the same thing as full power Frieza, which the difference is full power Frieza has super effective against all types. You don't have to worry about the crit chance with Frieza, but with Vegeta, he already has 20%. If you have movie heroes, he gets another 20%, which most of the time you're gonna run a movie hero unit with him. And then you just gotta get HP down. And then he literally can get 100% chance to crit under 50% HP.
How would you build him? Because I think like you would either want to go full like additional to try to get like raise the defense again and to pull off the crit, or do you want to go the truth route where you just go full dodge?
I think full dodge would not be a bad idea.
I don't know how much his damage or his defense is gonna be. I'd have to see it like in game.
200. So 200%, 50%, 50%, 50, and another. Yeah, I mean, his defense could look okay. I mean, he's getting 300% at the start of turn if you're under 80%.
You're gonna have to run him on a movie heroes team to
Yeah,
consistently.
you are, and
get it.
I don't mind that restriction because, like, you're gonna want to run him with another like, you're gonna want to run him with the Goku Vegeta unit. I feel like.
Could they do a movie heroes leader skill for the Goku and Vegeta, and then the other part be joined forces?
I think that'd be a really good leader skill. Because there are some movie, like, because then the gods are there. But I still think even though with them, I think you'd still technically run the gods as a lead because the team would fit better
That is true.
with the gods leader skill. But I think joint forces and movie heroes wouldn't be bad because if you think about it, Cooler and Ginyu already both have terrifying conquerors as 170, so we could see another 170 movie heroes lead.
That would be a nice change.
And then I would do this might seem a little off. The 30% I think could be accelerated battle. I think that would be an interesting.
That is not a bad choice.
I mean, because powerful comeback already has 200%. So I think accelerated battle or potentially mastered evolution could be there. But there wouldn't be many units on that category though.
That is definitely. I mean, accelerated battle is definitely up there as a possibility.
Like, yeah, man. Part two's looking really good. I mean, obviously they're gonna have all the Twitter campaigns, so there are obviously gonna be stones there. You know, we hit top grossing. We know they'll be stones there, but I think it's gonna take them a little bit longer to get top grossing this time around, since everyone knows about the way the carnival banners work, and it'll all just depend on how like the kits look in general for
That is
the
true.
LRs. But my hype is not as great as it was for part one. Like part one, I was extremely excited. This it's not as high, but I could still see some value with part two.
I need to see the animations. I think for Cooler movie, I don't know anything about the Cooler movie. I mean, besides from like the Dragon Ball Z abridged of it. But overall, I was unsure if I'd really like it. But I'm pretty sure the other 90% that also were a bit doubtful of the Cooler movie, the second they saw that revival Goku animation, they had immediately like rethought anything negative about it, and were all like, "I need to summon on this banner."
Absolutely, I think Cooler could have a revival skill. He either
I would
gets
explain the Metal
like he'll
Army.
either get a nullification or he'll get a revival skill. The nullification will be like a melee super. Like you melee super him and then he has it where his arm regenerates. Or the
Yep.
revival is where you finish him and then he goes into a turn where it's a Metacoodle army with the revival for like one turn or something. Where they're all like on the cliff and stuff.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It was like the 4-second teaser.
I think that could potentially be like a revival, and then you just get like a turn of that, like of sort of like a metal cooler kind of like army, you know, like a rage mode almost.
Yeah, I'd be fine with either of those.
Absolutely, it will certainly be very exciting. I'm just ready to see the kits. I want to see what Cooler does. I would like to, like I said, Metal Cooler with the support I think would be good.
Make them broken. I don't care how
Absolutely.
you do it. Make them broken. It's not Legends. You can afford to make them as broken as you need to.
Oh, absolutely. But the one thing I do want is I still want Final Form Cooler and Birdku to still be like this second or third best unit. Put these two at like the fourth and fifth best unit. Like put them at least over the year sevens.
Agreed. I think for JP, they could easily afford to do that.
I mean, Global's only had the year sevens for what, 2 months now?
Yeah, just about.
So they're certainly still new. So certainly people still want to use them. But Platinum, thank you very much, my man. I really appreciate you for taking the time and joining me on this nice little discussion. Certainly I will put his channel and his Twitch channel in the description of this video, so definitely go check him out. He just reached affiliate, so definitely go actually sub to his Twitch too, because I know you can actually sub on Twitch now.
Thank you for having me here today, Tripped Out. I really appreciate you reaching out to me to talk about some of the new changes and part 2 coming up pretty soon. Make sure you save your stones because part 2 is going to be very hype. The second we see those animations, people are going to go insane about them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We could definitely do this like in future like major celebrations. I feel like this is a good way to, you know, get people's opinions out there, see how we feel about it, and then, you know, get everyone else to see if they feel the same way about it or not. So certainly future celebrations, I certainly think I'll hit you up. We'll do stuff like this. I think it's more fun to do it with other people than just sit here and talk by myself.
Yeah, it's always good to get a second opinion regarding the choices or like new additions that they add to the game, and get the community reaction around it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, yet again, thank you very much. It's about time for me to let my phone finish charging. Time to get to the stream, man.
I'll be link leveling.
Oh, you
Gotta get on
know
that
it.
link level grind.
All right, man. Take it easy.
You too, man. Thanks for having me today.
No problem.